Thank you all for coming. So what I'd like to do today is answer any review questions that anyone has related to trig, because we've got our test on Thursday. And then I'd like to break off into our test groups, which is going to be smaller Google Meet sessions, just to give me an idea that I want everyone to know how we're going to do this on Thursday. And I also want to just see what it looks like on my computer with people in their own groups. And so I've broken the class up into different groups, but I haven't actually emailed you those links yet. And so after we do some review, we can split up into those groups. Just keep in mind that there's no homework due tomorrow night on Wednesday because of the test. I'm trying to give you enough time to study. So, there won't, have over a week without homework due to study for this thing. So I hope that's enough time for everyone to prepare. And then we'll have the test on Thursday. It says Wednesday, it should say Thursday, sorry about that. So it's gonna be on Thursday at 11 o'clock during class. I wrote it just like a normal test, so it should only take about 75 minutes, but you're welcome to take as much time as you want. And when I did this with my linear algebra class last week, some people finished it in 30 minutes to an hour, and I literally had people take 3 or 4 hours with it. And I think the people who took 3 or 4 hours just weren't prepared. But again, if you want to take that long, that's fine, but you should make sure that you have enough time in your schedule to actually do those things. Thank you guys for joining us. I appreciate that. I'm just trying to take attendance here real quick because I want to email people who aren't here. So what we're going to do, like I mentioned already here, is I'd like to take time to answer any questions. No one's asked a single question yet, so I don't know if that means there aren't any questions. If there aren't, or once we finish with questions, we'll split off into our individual groups. And then I'd like you to submit a practice test, which is on Blackboard. Again, just because on Thursday, I want there to be no question about what we're doing. I want everyone to be confident with where they should be going. And I want to know that everyone knows how to scan something with their phone and submit the document. So I guess I'll open it up for questions here, but again, it's been open for questions. So does anyone have specific topics they want to talk about? Maybe while people are getting questions together, I'll just remind you where all the review material is for the test. I really hope it's the case that you've already been studying, because there's a lot on this test, I think, and sometimes people have problems with trig. Which is why I'm trying to give you as much time as possible. But anyway, if you haven't started studying, let me show you where the material is. So I'm sharing my screen now. I'm sharing my screen and I'm showing you Blackboard. When you go into Blackboard, under course documents, there's a few things you should be aware of. The first thing is right at the top here, test instructions and test exercise. This is what we're going to be looking at today. So the instructions for taking the remote test are right here. I'll just remind you about the way it's generally going to work. You're going to need to sit down in front of a camera at 11 o'clock on Thursday, and I'll email the test out, and you'll just open the test up on your computer. There's no need to print it, and you will submit. You'll write your answers down on separate pieces of paper and then scan those and submit them. And so that's basically what it says in these instructions. As it says here, I'm going to ask that you not use a calculator on this, because one of the main things we're trying to do on this test is see whether or not you can evaluate trig functions. And so I tried to make it so that there's no confusing like numbers you need to multiply or anything. There's no big numbers or anything you should need a calculator for. And all you should really need is the reference material and yourself. This test exercise is what we're going to work on at the end of class today. All the review material is down here in test topics, practice problems, and solutions. And so all the test topics are in the test topic document. We've got review problems and review solutions. I put a bunch of trig identities up here if you want some more trig identity work. And then this document right here, this test reference material, is what you can use on the test. And so when you get the test on Thursday, you might want to have like this document open, and then the test in a separate document would be what I suggest. Okay, I just basically was just trying to stall there to see if there are any questions. Are there any questions people want to talk about? Any review questions? Usually what I do in class on a review day is I pass out the review questions, which isn't right here in the trig review. I let people work on them a little bit, and then I answer questions about them. So are there questions about these problems or other topics? If you wanted to ask, like, hey, can you remind me about inverse trig functions or something, I could do that. Anything to help. Yeah, go ahead.
Not really related, but it's kind of related. What's grade scope?
Oh, did you get an email about that?
Yes.
Yeah, so the way I'm going to grade the tests is you're going to submit to me your PDF, and then what I do is I'm going to upload it on this website, Gradescope, and it takes everyone's test and rearranges them so it makes it easier for me to grade. So basically, the way that the professors usually grade, maybe you're not aware of it, is you sit down, and at least the way I do it is I grade all of the first question. So I go through everyone's test and grade question number 1. And then I move on to question number 2 and I grade everyone's question number 2. And so what this website does is when it takes your tests and it puts all the question number 1s together and lets me page through them. And then it puts all the question numbers 2s together and lets me page through them. And so that's what Gradescope is. And that's why it's really important that when it says on a test, like, go to the next page, please go to the next page. So one of the very key things that on the instructions here, like it says, please follow the page breaks of the test. And so what that looks like, it kind of looks like this. If we go to the practice test, right here. I stopped presenting, didn't I? Let me present again. So when you open up the practice test document, which is this test 2 exercise, this is sort of what the test is going to look like. This is actually the first page of the test right here. And what it'll look like is it'll be some questions. And then when you get to the end of the page, it's going to say, please go on to the next page. And so, like, on this practice test, you'll answer 2 questions on the first page, and then you'll go on to the next page and answer the 3rd question on the next page. This is going to help me grade it, basically. And that's why it says, for grading purposes, please write solutions on a new page. So, you're going to be writing down your answers on a blank piece of paper, but what I'm asking you to do is try to just have the same number of pieces of paper as the test, right? And try to basically write your answers approximately where they would be on the test. It's not a huge deal if they're a little bit off, but what is a huge deal is if you have the wrong number of pages. So I need to have the right number of pages, the correct number of pages, and you try to match those page breaks. So sorry, that was a long-winded explanation, but that's what Gradescope is all about. Can I answer some other questions?
Another one.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
No, me, it's easier for me because instead of switching back and forth between tabs would be, am I able to, can I print that test out? I mean, you'll still be watching it, but just print it out because it's easy for me to see it.
You can do something like that. The other thing you can do, which is why I might recommend, is just having them open next to each other. What I'd like to avoid is everyone feeling like they need to print it. You don't need to print it, or feeling like leaving the room to do something and print it, basically. So here's what. Yes, you can print it if it's a really big deal and it's going to make you feel more comfortable. Sure, go ahead and print it. But what I would suggest you do is something like this. I'm sharing my screen again, where you open the test up and you put that on half the screen, and then you put the reference material on the other half, like this, like something like this, for example. Again, is it completely necessary? No. If you really need to print it, that's okay. But if you did something like this, you could have the references up and you could have the test up as well without needing to switch back and forth.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm happy to answer other questions like that, what might be called, I don't know, format questions or housekeeping or whatever. Anything on your mind related to the test. Could be test material, could be questions like that.
Last one, I promise. Do you want us to keep our mics off at the same time when we're taking this?
Yeah, so I will ask that you turn your mic off, and if someone forgets, I'll just go ahead and mute you. And then if you have a question, the way that that's going to work is I will distribute my phone number and you can pick your phone up and call me, and we can chat about a question if you have one.
Sure.
And that seemed to work pretty well on the last time. I just had my cell phone out. If someone had a question, they just start dialing. If I see someone on their phone, I'm assuming you're calling me. And yeah, we were able to just chat about the question. There weren't too many questions. I tried to make it very clear what I was asking and what you should be putting down and things like that to avoid questions as much as possible. But yeah, you can always just give me a call if something comes up. Feel free to keep asking questions, anyone. I guess the other thing I'll remind you of. Am I still on this call? Yeah, sorry. Got confused for a second. The other thing I'll just remind you of real quick is maybe it seems like I'm hoping I know I've been talking to some people about this stuff. So I know some people have been reviewing and are prepared, and maybe that's why there aren't too many questions. But I'm also wondering maybe people haven't started studying that much yet, which I don't think is advisable. But if that's the case, just keep in mind that we have tutors available tonight and tomorrow night in the evening to answer review questions then as well. I did see Josh just answered a question or asked a question. To scan, do we just take a picture and upload? If you go to your notes, there's an option to take scan. Can you clarify what you mean by that, Vivi? And maybe I can run through how to scan. So what I'm suggesting people do is use the Can Scammer app. It works really well for iPhones. I've heard maybe it doesn't work as well for Androids. So I've got it right here. If you don't mind, I can just like put my camera under here and show it like this. So this is the Cam Scanner app that I'm suggesting. If you have an Android, you may want to use a different app. It really doesn't matter what you use. What matters to me is that you send me a PDF that has the correct number of pages. So if you use this Cam Scanner app, you scan something by pressing the camera button, and then it brings up the camera. And what you do is you go to the batch mode. So see how at the bottom there's a bunch of different options there. One of them is called batch. And if you click the batch mode, it lets you take multiple pictures, and then it'll create one document. So you would like take a picture, you'd put another another paper down, you take a picture, right? You just take as many pictures as you have. So this took 3 pictures, for example. It shows you what it thinks you want to scan, and so you need to make sure it's like outlining the page correctly. And so you just kind of page through and make sure that it's outlining everything. And then when you hit the check mark, it'll take all your pages and create one PDF. And from that point, you can either email it if you want, or potentially share it, or all different kinds of things. What I do is I upload it to Dropbox. But you could upload it to Google Drive or something. There's lots of ways to get it onto your computer. What I would suggest you do is just hit email. Just hit email, email the PDF, and then you enter your email, you enter my email, and just send it to me. And then once I receive it, I just take a quick look at it to make sure it's all there, and I say you're good to go, and then you'll be done. So that's sort of my general explanation about how that works. It looks like Vivi is also talking about something. Cameron has mentioned that it also works for Android, so that's good. I had an advisee who had a hard time working it on Android, but I think that might have just been an issue with my advisee. But anyway, Vivi, you said that you go to your notes and make a new note. Oh, so you're talking about like you don't need an app. You can just do it directly from your phone using the Notes app. Yeah, so I guess I've never done that before, but I guess she's talking about if you go to Notes. Let's see here. What did you say? Go to Notes, make a new note. I have folders. Make a new note. Oh, and then you could, I guess, do camera. Will it make one document? Like, could you take 2 or 3 pages and make it into one document? Okay. The thing I like about the Cam Scanner app is if you can practice doing it today, is if you write in pencil, it makes it look like pen. So it like adjusts the contrast on your scans to make it look come out better. And so that's very helpful from a grading standpoint, because one of the challenges sometimes is just the scans are very hard to see. And so the CAM scanner app or any other scanning app usually adjusts the contrast. So I really think it's a good thing to use a specific app. And since we're all online, I can imagine you might want to use it for other classes. So it could be a good thing to do. Okay, if no one has other questions, I think I would like to just switch over to the individual groups and have you submit that form. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you the form. Well, maybe I'll just email you all first. So I'm about to send you an email that says this is the link to use for tests. And I would like you to switch over to that session. But before you do, let me say one other thing. So let me send this email, but don't switch yet. So I'm sending email, sending email. Okay, so you should have just got an email from me. Before you switch over, here's what we're going to do. You're going to switch over to the other session. You're going to go to the test exercise document on Blackboard, and you're going to complete that document. All that's doing is answering 3 questions on 2 separate pieces of paper, scanning it, and then submitting it. So I'm sharing my screen again. What you're going to do is you go to the test 2 exercise document. Okay, this is what the test looks like. You can read the instructions, answer these 2 questions on the first page, write your name and ID in the upper right-hand corner. Basically, just follow these instructions. Do it on the second page, scan it, and send it to me. Again, this is just so I can see that you know how to scan things and that this won't be an issue on Thursday. I'm sorry to have to sort of take time to do this, but like the last thing I want to happen is on Thursday, people don't know how to submit their test. So go ahead and switch over. I'm going to switch over to those things right now. I emailed you another link, a separate link for a different Google Meet session. And I am joining those sessions right now. So once you have completed your practice test, you're all set. But again, wait for me to confirm with you that that happened. So once you send it to me, I will send you a message back that says you're all set. I don't have a question about what they should be doing. Did someone ask a question? I couldn't really hear you. Sorry, folks. So the other thing I would like to try here is just if you would turn your camera on and show me that you're able to set up. So let me say that one more time once everyone else joins. I'll probably say it a couple times. So the other thing I would like to try in this session is just see that everyone is able to turn their camera on and set it up so that I can see you take the test. I just want to basically simulate the testing environment so that we're all on the same page about this. I'll go ahead and throw my camera on too. You guys can see my my freshly shaved head here. Okay, I'm just going to repeat what I had said already a second ago. So thank you guys. It looks like everyone's following directions. Great here so far. What we're doing right now is just trying to simulate the testing environment and practice submitting a practice test. And so I posted that practice test to Blackboard. And what I'd like you to do is just turn your camera on, show me that you have a camera, basically, and do that practice test, and then email it to me. It's just answering a couple questions, showing me you know how to scan something. And then once you send it and I get it, you can be free to go on your way. And while people are working, I'll just sort of mention again that I'm around throughout the day today and tomorrow for questions. Like if you wanted to pop back on and talk about some review, we could do that. And the Precalc tutors are also available tonight and tomorrow as well. So again, once you finish that practice test, you can go ahead and scan it up and email it to me. And once I get it, I will just give you verbal confirmation that I got it. And so Angelina, already, I had got yours before, and I'm opening it, and both scans came out great. So Angelina is all set for Thursday, and you're welcome to take off. Thank you for doing that.
Wait, I have a question.
Sure.
So you just want us to go on that Blackboard and print out those copies and just answer the questions and just scan them and email them to you?
Yep, you don't even need to print it. So just open it up on your computer, just have it right on the screen, just like you would the test, and just write down the answers and scan it up. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's it. Just trying to see that the folks understand how to scan things, and if you've done it before, this is super easy. But I just want to work out any hiccups sort of today instead of on Thursday. Just gonna take attendance here again. Let's see. Still missing a couple folks.
So I just want to say, I'm on my phone at the moment. That's why my screen keeps coming in and out. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, who just said that?
It's Marquise.
I just saw you a second ago. Sorry, I've got 3 tabs open right now.
Yeah.
I can't see you at the moment. I do think I saw you a second ago, though. It's fine to use a phone as long as the camera's working.
Yes, it works, but I'm just not home at the moment.
Okay, that's fine.
That's what I'm using right now, but I do have a camera on my laptop.
Gotcha. Great. Okay, I did just get Moira's test. Let me just open it up, Moira. Let's see here. So it came through. There are 2 pages to it, I think. It's having a hard time loading. So it looks okay, Moira. Just when you scan it on Thursday, and this goes for everyone, when you actually go to scan it, it looks like you did use the Cam Scanner app. It kind of outlines the page or what it thinks is the page. Just make sure that it's outlined correctly. Like if you look at your scan, it's kind of jacked up the way that it came through. I think you know what I mean if you look at it. So when you actually go to scan it, it sort of outlines what it thinks it should outline, and you can adjust that to make it fit the page correctly. But just keep that in mind for Thursday, and you're all set, Moria. Thank you for that.
So I actually ended up scanning that with, or sending that with my personal email.
Who said that?
Gabe.
So Gabe, I did just get yours, except it's all on one page. So really important that you follow the instructions there. I'm not sure who's talking right now, but the amount of static is crazy. Zach, I'm muting you. Zach, it was coming through unbelievably loud and static, so I couldn't hear what you're saying. Can you type whatever you were saying? And answer, I don't know if Gabe heard what I was saying, but I've said it a couple times. I'm going to say it one more time to everyone. Please listen. On the test, follow the page breaks. So when it says in big letters inside a box, please go on to the next page with the next question, please follow those instructions and go on to the next page with the next question. So like it says at the bottom, you should have 2 pages when you send this final thing to me. Okay, I did just get Jana's. Thank you very much, Jana. You're all set. Josh, yours looks good too. Thank you. Justin, you're all set. Thank you very much. Sebastian, you only sent me the second page. So another thing that everyone should keep in mind is when you go to send the file, it should be on the screen that has all the pages. It looks like maybe you sent the file from this. Okay.
I just fixed it.
Gotcha. Okay, this looks better, Gabe. Just when you do it tomorrow, like notice your first page looks wonderful, Gabe, but the second page is kind of crooked. When you go and take the pictures before you hit the check mark, make sure it's outlining the page correctly. Otherwise, this looks good and you're all set. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll do that.
Okay, thanks. I just got a couple others in here. Let me just take another quick look through here. Sebastian's, yours looks good. Thank you. You're all set. I'm opening Daniel's right now. Daniel's, yours looks good too. Thank you. You are all set. I see Vivi's. Let me open it up. Vivi, yours also looks good. Thank you. You are all set.
Do I have to use the scanner app, or what's the best way to do it again?
So the Cam Scanner app is, I think, a really great method to do it. Depends on what phone you have, though. What kind of phone do you have?
I have iPhone.
So I think I would suggest using the Cam Scanner app. It's free, and it makes everyone's life easier. There's a reason you don't want to use it. We could talk about that, but I think it's a good option. It looks like maybe, Zach, did you figure out what you were doing there? It should have a batch option. I can show you what it looks like on mine if you haven't found it.
Professor Levy, I have a quick question.
Yep.
So are we falling back onto this? This is just a test group, or are you going to send us another email?
This is the link you should use.
This is a link. Okay.
And so it should be in your calendar, like your Google Calendar if you use that, but it's also should be an email that you can return to.
Okay.
And I'll send another email out Thursday morning with it just to be sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, Professor, did you receive mine?
Let's see here. I did receive it. Let me open it up. Yep, yours looks good, Cameron. Thank you. You're all set.
Dr. Lieber, are we sending it with the reply, or are we emailing it different? Am I replying with? Am I sending it to the reply of the email?
Nope, just send it directly from the app. So there's like an email button in the app.
I don't know that one. I'm thinking about it. I mean, I have a printer. My printer is a scanner as well, and I can do that. I can attach. I can create a PDF. I can make it.
If you wanted to do that, that would be okay. I just was assuming most people wouldn't have a scanner, which is why I was going to do this. But if you have a scanner and you want to scan it, that'd be fine.
All right. By the way, not if I'm coming out rude, you seem weird bald.
Thank you. That feels very weird.
Do you know if you have to have like an email hooked up to the cam scanner app? Because I have it like ready to send you, but it won't let me click the send button.
I think maybe you're one screen too far. Can you go back one screen?
Yeah. So this is my test.
So this is the screen that it looks like that you can send from. It has like all the pages, and then you do like at the bottom. There's an email button. Do you have it looks like an iPhone? An iPhone?
Yeah, I have an iPhone. Okay, hold on. Okay, so this page.
Yeah, right.
And then when I click email, it asks if I want to do a PDF or a JPEG.
Yep. So PDF.
Yeah, I click PDF and then it brings me here. So then I click send. Or send. And then it brings me here.
Okay. So then type in.
I typed in your email. And then it won't let me send it. And so your email is like in there now. And like that's the send button, but it like won't let me send it here. I can try.
You have. I mean, you're connected to internet and everything, right there.
Yeah, I also have like my account up on my computer. So I'm thinking maybe I can just download it and then like send it to you in an email, but I don't know if you like want me to do it that way.
That would be fine if that works.
Okay. Let me see. Just save it.
Zach, I got your email. Thank you. You're all set. Okay, I just got a bunch. Hold on, let me open them up. Courtney, yours looks good. Thank you. You're all set. Caroline looks good. So what did you have to do there?
So I went, like, I made an account and then confirmed my email, and then it like brought up the app on my computer. So then like I scanned it on my phone, but it wouldn't let me send from my phone. So then I just went on like my computer, my account on my computer, and then I clicked download, and then I attached the PDF into a email to send to you.
Okay, well, that's strange. I'm sorry you had to do that, but it did work and it looks good.
Okay, thank you.
Karen, yours also looks good. You're all set. Thank you. Laura, can I confirm with you as well that you'll have a camera for Thursday?
Yeah, I think I'm still having the same problem with trying to send through Cam Scanner. Since I'm doing it off my phone, I don't have my laptop with me.
Oh, so you're not the same problem as described a second ago?
Yes.
Okay. That's fine. Can you just, when are you going to be home later? Can you just try it later just to see if it'll work?
Yes.
Okay. I'm taking note of who has and hasn't done it. So I might send you an email included in that, but partially just to remind you. If you can just try that later.
Okay, I will.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just sent my professor.
Okay. Let me check. Looks good, Sean. Thank you. You're all set.
All right.
Professor, did you get my email yet?
I have not. Let's see. I haven't. When did you send it? Just now?
Yeah, I just sent it. It's probably something with the Wi-Fi. Oh, hold on.